Hello everyone, it's Social Free State here from socialfreestate.com. I'm just doing a piece on Cheddar Man, and as you can see there is a suggestion that he had blue eyes, dark skin and dark curly hair. So rather than reading the Guardian nonsense, I'd rather go and find out about the primary source. That's Tom Booth, an archaeologist at Natural History Museum. Okay, so here I've got Tom Booth up, well, Natural History Museum. Now, for the most part, it's just going into the suggestions as to what they had assumed beforehand, before this DNA test, and now what the suggestion might be, having had the DNA test. And it just goes into a lot of detail or suggestive details about that. And there's another suggestion here. Well, there's a fact here. An unusual cave burial, whereas they had normally found communal burials, as it states here. Cheddar Man was found buried alone, which suggests that he could have been special, or he may have curled up and died there alone. They don't suggest, with all the suggestions that they make, they don't suggest in what way he might have been special. Special sometimes means different, or it sometimes doesn't. But they don't suggest any further as to why he might have been special. So there's a little bit of information that it's Dr. Tom Booth. So the link here is that there he is. He's a very clever man. He's been in university and studying since 2004, so he's a very, very clever man. He has a PhD, and I am currently working as a postdoctoral research associate on the Wellcome funded project. Okay, so I wanted to understand what the Wellcome funded project was, and this is some of the things that they support and funding here. Biomedical science, population health, product development and applied research, humanities and social science, public engagement and creative industries. And here are some of the case studies along here, as you can see. They're the people who they've funded in the past. So what do we do? Well, let's look at about us instead. Okay, we're a global charitable foundation, both politically and financially independent. Okay, so they won't be asking for donations, presumably. Oh yes, they will, because they're a charity. Okay, so I don't know that you can be politically independent when you're asking for money, to be honest with you. And they like to spark debate. Okay, so I thought that I might go and look at Tom a bit more detail, because he's a clever man and I think it's worth trying to find out what he is about. So to me, right, okay, so Professor Beard, paragon of tolerance, measure and patience in the face of weapons grade stupidity and misogyny. Oh dear, who's being stupid and misogynist? Oh right, okay. To me, also missing that white people in Roman Britain would have been ethnically, whatever that means in a Roman context, varied. Ooh, okay. Oh, look, racists. Doesn't like racists. Anything else interesting? There's quite a bit about the far right and the alt-right. Not keen. They've also suggested that Brexit will have an impact on archaeology and the funding that they receive. Presumably they get a lot from Europe. It's in their interest, I guess. So, yes, a lot of information there, which you can have a look at yourself when you go onto his page. Do you remember that picture? Where was it? That was the, there we go. That was Prison Planet, wasn't it? They did a piece about the Romans on the BBC programme about the Romans. So anyway, there's a presumption that nationalists, or white nationalists as well, on his pieces, on his tweets, are racists. Now I'm a nationalist. I'm a Welsh nationalist, and I happen to be white. I also don't happen to be a racist. I don't like all these opposing cultures coming in, certainly not. I'm getting raped by them, but otherwise, you know, I wouldn't put myself as a racist, which is infuriating because anyone who talks about Brexit assumes that you must therefore be stupid and racist and bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, Nazi, you name it, I am it. Anyway, I just thought that I would go into all this sort of stuff because Tom is not a fan of the alt-right. Now that doesn't mean that Tom started researching into this because he wanted to prove the alt-right to be wrong or anything like that. But my assumption here, or what I've recognised about Tom, looking at his tweets, is that he is just as concentrated on race as what the alt-right are. So yeah, that's interesting to me because he is absolutely building his career on race. Ethnic nationalists, again, there's a lot of things about nationalism and all that kind of thing. You know, I'm not disputing what he's saying, I'm just saying that, you know, with all these scientific suggestions which he's found, which suggest that Cheddar Man could have been black. There's also a lot of scientific suggestions which, and you know, assume that he is white. So, you know, I'm just raising that observation with you if you'd like to look into that. If you're going to take it as a suggestion, or, you know, it certainly doesn't state fact anyway. There's certainly no facts in this. So I think that that's interesting. And yes, relating it back to Brexit, the reason why I've taken such a fascination in this is because there's a big hoo-ha about George Soros, who's donated money to this campaign, Brexit, Best for Britain, which is a anti-Brexit campaign. And of course, because people are not happy that George Soros is acting so undemocratically against the Brexit vote, there's a lot of people, is it Owen Jones and other people are saying and suggesting, also suggestions, not fact, that anyone who disputes what George Soros is doing is actually anti-Semitic, which is fascinating because, I mean, I would say that it's just anger and pure frustration that someone who's got billions of pounds or trillions of pounds, I don't know, would act in this kind of unreasonable manner against the will of the people. So therefore he's undemocratic rather than those people who are angry being anti-Semitic. But of course, you know, use your labels as you will, all of you. That's all I wanted to show you really. Just this is how I pick up my research, okay? So when I see something interesting in the newspaper, I go to the source, I find out who is involved, and it's always interesting to look at their political motivations as well. And you can do that through Twitter, and of course people do that with me as well and get very frustrated with me because, you know, I don't agree with them, especially on Twitter. So yeah, that's all I'm suggesting. As you can see, I've just got loads of lines of research up here which are related to all sorts of things which I'm looking at. So well, please like, please subscribe if my little research bits are of any interest to you. Thank you. Bye.